What a mess. Hello, darlings. How are you? Hello. Look at my tea. It spilled everywhere. Good golly. Do you notice I have someone with me today? Little Christmas bunny. Chappy. Little Chappy. Oh, I'm going to wait for a little bit more. Hello, darlings. Hello. How are you? You can't tell, but I wanted the tree to be a little... This is my little homemade Victorian tree. I made it last year. No, I made it 2 years ago. Out of pipe cleaners. I wanted a feather tree. You know, the old German feather trees? And I had one growing up all my life. And then in my previous marriage, I had a beautiful one that I had for so long. And the old sod sold it at a boot sale. Oh, you're being sneaky from your job. What's your name, love? Theo. Hello, how are you? What tea are you having? Okay, I'm having, it's Taylor's. You know, I love a Taylor. And because you can get it at Walmart if you're in a pinch. But it's so good. Normally I use the Honey and Sons, but this one is, let's see what it is. Earl Grey, obviously, because that's my favorite. Earl Grey. I think it said breakfast tea, didn't it? Breakfast tea. And I was out with my spice. And then I always put way entirely too many sugar cubes. I think I do like 5 sugar cubes in this. And then I top it off with a vanilla creamer. And then I put whipped cream on the top. Is that so ridiculous? No. Oh, it's so good. That's why I drink pots and pots a day. Happy holidays, darling. Do you like my little tree? This is my little mermaid. My little attempted Victorian mermaid. For the isn't that cute? Isn't it charming? These are, a lot of these are old from like when I had my children, and I was able to, when Zoe Kennedy, she came down. Do you recall, there was several years ago, I'm not sure if you've kept up with my story or not. Let me put my tea down. But we reunited when, hello darlings, hello, hello Monica, hello loves. We reunited in, I do believe it was the second year, was it, of the pandemic? I had not seen her for 9 years. 8 years, I take that back, 8 years. And no communication or anything, because y'all know the entire story, don't you? Is that my ex ill-suited mate, you know, alienated me from my children for a decade. Zoe came along, she's my youngest. She started making contact quicker than the boys did, a couple years before. But anyway, long story short, she brought me a container, and it was one little container, and it had several of the little things, like this little particular toy box, and the little Santa with the key, and what else did it have? It had a few ornaments from when they were babies, because I would get the Victorian ornaments. And she happened to bring that, thank goodness, and it was lovely. But the rest of the things on the little tree that I made, because I wanted a little tree, but they're at the time, you know, this was like 3 years ago, they were quite, you know, they were a bit much. And so I was doing a little craft heritage fair or something, and I wanted to make a little tree, and so I was like, you know what, I could use that, I could make dowels and use like pipe cleaners and florist wire and then a chunk of wood, and you know, and so I don't know, it cost me like $4, £4. Fake? Fake, what do you mean? Get me the best. Okay, I'm gonna take these people out. Okay. You have to come here with a clean spirit, my darlings. Clean spirit, do you understand? Yes, thank you. Anyway, okay, so what have y'all been doing this week? Have you been prepping for the Christmas time and for the decorations, huh? Let me see if I can just get the little bunny rabbit in here. Can you see the little bunny? Can you see him? Here, let me put him on my lap. He's so good. I hope he just doesn't tinkle on me. Come here, loves. Come here, little darling. Say hello. This is Chappie from the, you know, the little Christmas bunnies. Say hello. Say hello there. Look how cute he is. Isn't he so sweet? He likes you to hold him like a little baby. Look. He loves it like this. Don't you, darling? Yeah. Let's see. So, what have you been doing? I'm 53, almost 54. I'm sweating because, you know, I was installing, do you watch me on the Instagram stories and everything? If you want to, there's my little daily shenanigans. And so you can put it on, so I was doing my fence. I'm finishing up the last portion of the fence. And so Jeffrey Sean is out helping me. And he's like, go in and get your life going. You're going to be late, darling. And so how much is fish and chips at your local ship? At the local pub is about $13. About for you get a sandwich, chips, and a pickle. Yeah, that's how much it is. At the local pub, I always get I love corned beef and Reuben. Yeah, isn't that corned beef? Is a Reuben. Yeah, it's held for review. Thank you. Thank you. Whoever's helping out on the messages, thank you so much, loves. Thank you, thank you. Pounds in the UK. Yes, yes, pounds in the UK. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, darling. Kate Blanchett. It's hard, you know, I live in Florida, so I'm around Southerners all the time, and so it's very difficult sometimes for me to have my accent, you know, I've got to constantly work at it, and yeah, so it's, you know, I've been doing it 6 years, but, you know, it's very difficult to keep it up, especially when you're, you know, in America and you've got Southerners everywhere. There's no one British, no one English around me, so... Is there any Mark Lemisers round? No, love, no. He was a really, I don't know. I've subscribed, you're a bloody lovely person. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. Did I make you come round? You can't ask me if I'm single, darling. No, I'm not single. Don't you know my story? I manifested my twin flame in 2 months, 8 weeks. I love cats. Me too. I've got 11. 3 live in the cottage with me, the other are feral. I did have 13, 14 cats. Like, there's a whole story. I'm writing a book, The Tale of Molly Kitten, which is my next little story book, you know. And as I've written my books, my darlings, they're very reminiscent. Who has my books? Anybody can raise their hand or raise their hand. What is this class time, Raquel? Come on, darling. If you've read my books, they have a faint twist of the reminiscent of Beatrix Potter, and you know why? Because I channel Beatrix every time I'm writing a book, and so she gives me loads and loads and loads of answers to different things. So have you ever noticed in my books they sound a bit like Beatrix? You're manifesting right now? Oh, wonderful. Pardon me. So I love just chatting with you. Spent years doing trap and release for feral. Yes, me too. I trapped and released, like I said, 13 of them, but 2 of them passed away. One got, um, one was, no, that there was actually 3, so there was 14 cats. And my one, Prudence, she passed. And I've told y'all that story. And then, but the rest of them are all, you know, they're just a colony. They live around here, but they're very familiar with me, and they always come up to me and everything. But they won't let me hold them. They're not, they won't let you pick them up. But they let you pet them. They let me pet them, should I say. Darling, get your bits and bobs in order, darling, so I don't have to keep removing your comments, okay? Get your bits and bobs in order, darling. Cats are my favorite animals. Every cat, also the difficult ones, especially they. Yes. Have you ever, Theo? Have you ever heard my story about the cats? It healed me from my abandonment. So that's why I'm writing the tale of Molly Kitten, because Molly, it's a beautiful little story, but it's also very much true. You know what I mean? And so I always use my real life. Me too. I love the problem kitties. Yeah. But I manifested him, little Chappie, and Buckaroo. You remember Buckaroo and Oliver Twisty Top are in the Tale of the Christmas Bunnies as well, but they, they've been taxidermied. So they're in the cottage, in their little case. But, yeah, because I had to put, Oliver passed from old age 2 years ago. You see all the bunny, the bunny hair. He's getting his winter coat. And, but anyway, and then Buckaroo had to be put down because he had an illness in the back, and he paralyzed from his little bottom, his tush, all the way down, so he couldn't walk or anything. And I think it's very common in these kind of bunny rabbits with the big ears, and that was terribly sad. Did Theo tell you about the what, love? I talk so much, I had a little bit of notes. Let me see if I can find them, what I was going to chat about. Oh, okay, here's my little notes. Okay, so I have to tell y'all a hilarious story, darlings. Okay. Hello, Cindy. Thank you. I'm your favorite mermaid. Thank you, darling. Oh my God. What did you say? Crazy dreams from the sibling? Yes. Keeping on. Keep going. Press on, my darling. Press on. So you know how there were several people that would come on the YouTube, and also when I would see people at, the market or whatever, and they would always call me Mary Poppins, and I never understood it because I was like, Mary Poppins? Like, I didn't get it. You know that I've never watched movies or anything of that nature. So Jeffrey Sean and I it was Thursday. Yeah, after Thanksgiving and everything. And we laid down, but what would be on television? Mary Poppins. I didn't even know there was a Mary Poppins movie. I thought that was like The Sound of Music or something, and I've not ever seen The Sound of Music. And so I'm sitting there and I'm going, Mary Poppins. And then I saw Mary Poppins and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder people call me Mary Poppins. It looks just like her, the straw hat and everything. I was giggling. I thought it was hysterical. So I can't believe it. I did not understand why people called me Mary Poppins. That is so funny. You have a total Mary Poppins vibe. It's But and I still didn't watch the whole entire thing, the entirety of it, because it was nearly over. So what is it about, though? I don't know. I saw two little children, and they looked very, very cute and sweet. But so, uh, what else was I going to say? Yeah. Do you have all your Christmas shopping and all your decorations up? That helped too. I will be thankful forever. Oh, thank you, thank you. She's their Mary Poppins was the nanny. Oh, were they like? Well, what was it? What's the storyline though? Just that she's a nanny or something? I mean, like, what's the plot? It's a brilliant movie, very wholesome. Should I watch the entire thing? That is so funny. Look at all the bunny hair. I can't take it. Um, but anyway, so um, she's magical. It's a great movie. Yes, watch it. Okay. Oh, it's a musical. Okay. Well, then what is The Sound of Music? What is that then? Isn't that a musical as well? This, you can tell I put this little thing up here. It's like a um what do you call them, the needlepoint kind of thing, because I was trying to take it was shining right on my face, and so so it looks a bit daft right there. It's gnarly looking, but because it's my lace curtains, and I could not see, it was blaring in my eyes. But anyway, you'll have to excuse me for that. Hello, you just arrived, Life Path J63. Hello, darling, how are you? Am I Lara Lereg? What does that mean? I don't understand. Yes, but that's a Swiss singing family. Mary Poppins go on fantastical adventures. Oh, that's what Mary Poppins is about. Okay, I'm going to watch it. Oh, so let's have a chat. Should we have a little chat about what did you think about the Meghan Markle and let's talk about the channel, okay? After all I think it's almost been a week, has it not? It means, are you chill? Yeah, I think I'm pretty chill, aren't I? This is my first time to catch you. I'm thrilled. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Cindy. I did. I cooked everything. We had our little china and everything like that. And it was very easy breezy, though, because I wanted to be very relaxed. You know what I mean? Oh, so wonderful. Oh, Elizabeth, thank you, darling. Yes, I wanted to be very relaxed because the gentleman wanted to watch the game on television. So I said, serve yourself, and then we'll just sit in the living room. That's what we did, and it was so wonderful and so lovely and just calming. I looked at David Austin catalogs, picking out my roses and my heirloom seeds, and that's what I did. Me and my sister-in-law, we had a really, really lovely time. So did they watch Crystal Palace? Pardon me. Catch you and thread. So what I was thinking is, let's chat about the channel. For what did you think about the channel, about the Meghan Markle and the children? There was so much like hoopla, on it. What did you think about it? Is a singing family in the Alps. Also with a governess, they are trying to flee the Nazis. Oh, based on real Von Trapp family? Oh, interesting. Kira? Didn't see it. Okay, yeah, so maybe you might want to go back and watch it if you're interested. So The next one that's coming out tomorrow, I don't know if you'll be interested in this, but I thought it might be kind of fun. And I think I told you before on the last live is that I'm going to do Charles Dickens. And I'm going to channel Charles Dickens. Won't that be really quite neat? You enjoyed the Meghan Markle channel. So how did y'all feel about it? Because there was some mixed emotions and people thinking, you know, I don't, all I'm doing is channeling. So it's not like I can, I'm waiting for the release of the energy to come through. So it's very dependent on, are they resistant? Are they, you know, wanting to give a bit? Are they not? I mean, it's very much dependent on, and also me remembering to be a clear channel so that the proper things can come through. I didn't think Markle didn't give birth to those children. I'm getting the sense, I mean, from what I remember channeling it, I don't think that, I mean, obviously I think that there's children, but it feels a bit hairy, you know what I mean? Not hairy, that was a double entendre, wasn't it? No pun intended, but it feels a bit, I don't know, there's skepticism there. There's a bit of skepticism there when I was feeling it. It didn't feel very, she didn't feel very maternal in my opinion. This is Razzie's opinion. I think she had a surrogate, at least with Lilibet. Yeah, it's very, yeah, there's, I don't know. You always sow what you reap, so I think you get emotional when it comes to the children. Is that because they are very confused and scared? No, I felt as though they're being, that they're safe and that they're being taken care of, but it didn't feel as though, like I said, from Razzie, from Raquel's point of view, it felt very much as though they're not in the care, they're in the care of someone else. This is my personal opinion, okay, from what I felt. It's not fact or anything of that nature, but I'm just saying what I felt, is that I think they're being cared for very well, but the influence of mommy and daddy aren't around very much. And it sort of makes me feel as though it's very much like when I've channeled celebrities or worked with celebrities, because, you know, often celebrities will have, say, for example, Gwyneth Paltrow, okay? When her children were growing up, she had nannies for each child, and this is very common among celebrities. So say, for example, someone has 3 children, usually they hire, it depends, now I'm not saying that's always the case, but they will hire a full-on nanny for each child within that family. So then all the nannies have to sort of work together, but they're the ones raising the children practically all the time. That's why they go on trips with them. They bring them on the airlines. They bring them to vacations, holiday, when they set up house. And like, say, for example, one lives in Spain, or they have a house in Spain and they have a house in LA. They always take their nannies with them. The nannies are basically the parents. And so that's very much how it felt with Meghan and Harry. The children are very much taken care of by the nannies. Nannies, notice I said that. I think that there's 2 nannies. I think that there's 2 caretakers for these children. And I know it sounds terrible, but this is very commonplace for celebrities not to really be hands-on mummies and daddies. No, they're rarely, the children know the hired help, you know, the maids and the gardeners and the different people, the nannies and the housekeepers. They know them better than they know their own parents. They don't really know their parents. They're cared for by the help. Thank you. I look very nice, thank you. I've been working in the garden all day, but I'm a woman with taste. Thank you. Meghan Markle is not maternal. No, she doesn't feel, her energy doesn't feel maternal. Said that her mother was missing for 6 to 10 years. She was allegedly in jail for tax fraud. Oh, okay, so someone sent me a message and said that not only tax fraud, but also um, drugs. That's what I heard. Obviously, this is all for entertainment purposes only. I don't know. But I heard it was for pushing, like drug cartels sort of thing. How sad is that? But we're going to think about the positive things, isn't it? Because here's the thing, vibrationally, what people are comfortable with is not the same as when we see something and we think, oh my God, that must be horrible. They have acclimated to that type of life, that energy frequency. So it doesn't feel as off-putting to them as it would to us, say, for example, first year's round, she did, but didn't care because she smoked stuff with friends in the house. Oh, golly, that's not good, is it? Well, I mean, so many people have very, very dysfunctional homes. Exhibit A. Listen, I didn't come from a pristine family, silver spoon in my mouth, darlings. Let me tell you that. How to stay positive with everything happening. Well, here's how you do it. This is why I always advocate for the subliminals, listening to the subliminals. This is changing and rewiring your subconscious mind to become the most perfect, beautiful version of yourselves, the highest frequency version of yourself. Then you need to meditate every day. And people say, oh, well, I can't afford to, I can't afford to meditate. I don't have the time to meditate. You don't have the time not to meditate. That's what I say to you. Every person that ever says, give me an excuse like that, I would say, no, you don't have time not to meditate, because this puts you in your frequency every single time. So say, for example, you're having a terrible time, you're having a bit of a go one day, meditate. And I'll put the link in the description box because I have the perfect meditation. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've been doing the same meditation every single day of my life. It's 17 minutes. And you can afford to do that because it sets you right for the entire day. You can't fill someone else's glass if yours is empty. Do you understand? So I'm getting on my high horse, aren't I? Any thoughts on the Travis and Taylor? They've kind of been not seen. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking she's preparing for the wedding. I think she's gone off course because she's preparing for the wedding. That's my opinion. Any new thoughts? No. Should I do another reading on her? Do you want me to do another reading on them? Tell me in the comments. I would love to. If you see, I want to have enough people to where they say, oh, do this, because if you're telling me one time or two times, and I know I shouldn't worry about that, but it's like, it takes a lot to channel and it takes loads of my energy. And so when I invest that much energy into it, it's not like I'm just like, hey, willy-nilly, you know what I mean? And so then when I put so much energy into it the entire week or whatever I'm doing, the couple of days preparing for it, and then, less than 1,000 people watch, I know it shouldn't be about that, but it's very taxing on me as a channeler. So yes, do another reading. Okay, so anyone else? Hello, darling. Hello. Remember your channeling of Taylor Swift? They haven't broke up yet. Do you think they are just putting on a show? So go, Willow Pillow 30. Go into that last video. Can y'all hear the drill? Jeffrey's out there doing the drill. My apologies if you can hear that. So go onto that video, and if you look, I pinned a portion of it underneath and told you what I think, an updated version of it. Yay, I finally caught you live. Did you ever finish the Britney reading? Did I? I can't remember, loves. Stephanie, I can't remember. Yes, please, another reading on Meghan and Harry. You want another reading on the Meghan and Harry? Why? Is there something going on now? Is there new information already? I just did it a week ago, Anything on Britney? Well, I did that one on Britney. I will have to tell you, it's a bit squirrely that she's hanging out with the Kardashians, and I had a very bad feeling about it. Now, this is Razzie when I was seeing it, and I always have to preface that, but my intuition was, it did not feel authentic in why they're having her rounds. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm telling you that. Um, no, it's a scandal of fish, darling. That's what it is. She needs to stay clear of that family. I'm just telling you. I don't know why I'm telling you. It has nothing to do with you, darlings. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It just seems a bit fishy, okay? It smells of fish. Or, like I said before, it smells of grave robbing. It has to be so draining, or just do what keeps you healthy and always important. Yeah, and I don't mind. I mean, I've really prolonged on doing channels for, like, people want me to do it for, you know, like murder. Obviously, I did a deep channel for my son when he was murdered privately on my own, because I really wanted to know some things about the murderer and like actually what happened, because the crime scene was not equaling out. Now, obviously, I wasn't going to go to the detectives and say, "Listen, I'm a psychic, and this blood in this particular room is not making sense." You know, da 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 da. They had already had the people in prison. Um, but I manifested that. So I want you to remember, nothing is impossible, darlings. You don't need to know people. You don't need to look. You don't need to know people. You don't need to be in with a certain crowd. You don't have to know a celebrity. You don't have to know a politician. You don't have to know your local county commissioner. You don't have to be in good graces with anyone. As long as you have a strong mind, you can manifest anything. And so this goes to show you that when my son was murdered, and they had put the man and the woman on trial, okay, she took a plea deal. Do you want to hear this or not? Because it's a little bit drab, but I'll tell you, it's about manifesting. Oh, I would like to know if it's uncovered that Meghan didn't give birth, and if Harry's titles would be removed when William is on the throne. Oh, that would be a good way to approach it. Yes, please, Cindy. Okay, so you want me to tell you about the... Okay, so now, so what happened was when Sawyer... Okay, so they had him on trial, so he was the one that you know, it was second degree, premeditated. It was premeditated. And and the girl that took the murderer, it was basically his girlfriend, and showed where Sawyer lived. Well, she was in the car with him, obviously. So what happened was, she took a plea deal, so she got less time, and if she would knock him out, you know, and she did. And so anyway, he wanted to go to trial because he wanted to try and get off and have less time, but he wanted to go to trial. Well, I didn't want for him to go to trial. And the reason, and you might say, oh, that's quite selfish. I don't really care, you know. But at the time, my ex-husband, okay, so this was right when Sawyer died. And so I was dealing with the grief of that, still not having any communication with my children. He was being very, very narcissistic. And you know what that happens. Flying monkeys, all kinds of just, I mean, just, you know, for example, flying them here. Okay, this is just a prime example. Flying them to Florida on Mother's Day. Now, this is a week before... 2 weeks after is when Sawyer was murdered, okay? Fast forward, okay, Sawyer's murdered. So my ex-husband starts all the time, doing things to psychologically try to reel me back in, because I was in a narcissistic relationship for, you know, I was married for 25 years. And so I was coming unglued, because I was dealing with the, you know, murder of my son. And then not only that, the ex was having my children not talk to me, like, your mom's the reason for all this, your mom's and just try to make me look crazy again, right? So he wanted to control the narrative, and he did for years, until Zoe's wedding last year. And so he wanted to cover the murder on television. He wanted to be on television and cover the murder and cover all this kind of stuff, go to the courtroom. You know, in the meantime, like he would fly the children to Florida, because he lives in Florida as well, and then post pictures all over social media of them and them not coming to see me on Mother's Day. Did it the same thing my birthday. He set his wedding up the exact, you know, he got married, set his wedding up on the weekend of my birthday so that the children couldn't come visit me. They had to be at the wedding. You see what I'm saying? That is just the kind, I mean, and that's just like the icing on the cake. That is not even, I'm not even going to go there. But, so, I said, I'm going to manifest that there is no trial, because he was like, oh, I'm going to be at the trial every day. And I only know this because my daughter told me. And she's like, oh, Daddy's going to be at the trial every day and sit in the trial in the room, and he's going to report on it for his job at the television. And I was just like, to hell, he's not. But I mean, in my mind, I said that. I didn't say it to anyone, especially my children. I never talked ill about my ex-husband to my children. I did not do that. And that was very difficult. And I want you mothers to understand, if you ever, it makes me teary-eyed, but if you ever experience that, just know that you can always talk to me too as well, because I understand what it feels like to be alienated from your children when that's all they knew. I raised them, you know. Yes, my husband supported us with a paycheck, but other than that, he was constantly busy traveling, and he was not home. He was just not home. When he was home, he wasn't home. Do you understand? And so anyway, I manifested it. I did not know until 2 months later that the trial, that they had already been sentenced and sent away to prison. This is how bad it was, that I had no clue that any of that happened. Till one day I'm just chatting with my daughter, and she's like, oh yeah, oh Mommy, didn't you know what happened? I'm like, no, I didn't. No one told me, but I didn't care, because it was like, I got what I wanted. So, oh well. Yeah. I mean, extremely. I mean, the cruelty goes beyond bounds that I never thought humanly possible. And I'm not just saying that to feel like a victim. I'm not, you know, I'm a Pisces. I do sound like I'm a bit victim sometimes, but you know, let's just go with it. Okay, darlings? So, yeah, but, so I manifested that, and how I manifest, what I love, the technique I love the best, that works so well. I mean, obviously, all of them work. It just depends on what you like better, but my favorite is Sats, because it's rapid, it's quick, and I can do it really easily, probably because I have a big imagination, and so that becomes very easy for me. Some people like different techniques, you know, visualization. Well, I mean, Sats is sort of visualization, but it's the least amount of work to manifest something to do Sats, you know what I mean? Strong. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Virtual hugs. Thank you, darlings. See, I wore my green dress, even although it's quite dirty, you know, look at my sleeves. But I mean, I was working in the garden all day, and I was like, oh my God, I want to look at least a little bit Christmassy, you know what I mean? And can you see the little lights, the little twinkle lights on there, the little candle twinkle lights on the tree? Because I can't barely see them. My eyes are terrible, you know. Yeah, it's not very nice. What you mean? The money wasn't worth what you paid. What does that mean? Thank you. You love my antiques. Thank you. You know, when I left my ill-suited ex-mate, right? The only thing I had was, do y'all know the story? So I took 2 suitcases. They were my son Carter's suitcases from when he had just arrived 2 weeks prior to that from his mission, because I used to be Mormon. Remember, I said I was Pentecostal until I was 17. Then I started to go into the Mormon church, and I wanted to get baptized, so I got baptized, and until I was 42, I was Mormon, you know, got married in the temple, waited for the missionary, did all that sorts of bits. And, but anyway, when I decided, I didn't tell anyone that I was divorcing, not my parents, not, I had no friends or whatever. My children, I told no one. And so then my manifestation was difficult because I was just, I was had it up to here with men because I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with men. So it wasn't like I was leaving a relationship to be in another one. I was just like, to hell with men. I had so many issues with men, you know. And so I was just thinking like, oh, 10 years down the road or something, maybe I'll remarry one day or something. But right now I just want to be rid of them all. And so I took 2 suitcases with 2 little bandanas on them. And I still did not know how I was going to move because I took no money, no possessions. I just took the clothes that I had, my little nightgowns, my little makeup. I had a little hair dryer, all my essential oils, no vehicles, no nothing. But so so I was a stay-at-home mom, so I had no money either. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? I got to manifest. Do y'all want to hear this, or am I boring you to tears? Yeah, I know. You can't barely see them. Maybe if I turn the light off for a moment. Let's see here. Can you see them now? Oh, see them there? Aren't they cute? Oh, they're so precious. I really love them. Oh, they're so... Let me turn the light back on, darlings. Oh, looky there. Um, yeah, what's your comment, darling? I'm sorry. His money to you as a married mate, it cost you so much of your humanity, but then again, it helped make you, it did really make me strong. You're right. But see, I didn't want to take money because I had a dear friend. We're no longer friends anymore, but we had been friends since the 2nd grade, just on and off. You know what I mean? I kept in touch with her through the Christmas cards and things of that nature. Well, I remembered her getting divorced, and she had 1 child. And he was I don't know, mid-teen or something, and she was hell-bent on, no, I'm getting child support, and I'm never going to remarry because I'm going to have alimony. And I just thought, and it was 10 years later, and she was still getting alimony and obviously child support, but she never remarried because she said, I'm not giving up my alimony. And I said, so you're going to put off your happiness for however long, and this man has control over you because you have to beg for your money every month. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I absolutely walked away with nothing, not a penny to my name, not a penny. I'm telling you, he locked down the account, a penny. I'm telling you. Even after the divorce, I paid for it. I manifested the money because I said, okay, how can I get divorced cheap? And so I knew if I come to Florida, because I grew up, you know, in Florida at some point. And I thought, okay, so you can get divorced and you don't have to stay separated, you know, for like 6 months or something. And we were at the time living in Oklahoma, so that was going to be, oh, I have to be what do you call it? Separated for 6 months, 9 months, or however long, and then they issue the divorce. And I was thought, no, because he would still bother me. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. And so it was $250. I manifested that. My aunt happened to call me. I was manifesting it. I did not say anything to anyone. I manifested it. My aunt calls me out of the blue. This was in July, August, somewhere in there of 2015. And I just told my ex-mate, hey, I'm going to Florida. I'm going to have a little retreat for the nonprofit, blah, 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 whatever. And I was thinking, no, I'm never coming back. And I got such ridicule, like, how dare you? You're a terrible mother. How could you leave your children? You abandon your children. Even family were like, I could never do that. And I'm like, well, if you were suicidal and you were mentally going insane, and your children were 15, 16, 30 years old, and unless you've walked in my shoes or my stems, you know what I mean? You better not judge me because you're going to have to pay for that, for judging me so harshly. And yeah, I was suicidal. I was so badly suicidal because I could not, I was so miserable. I was so miserable. And I just thought, if I don't get out, I'm going to take myself out. I can't live like this anymore, you know? And and I knew if he knew, he would stop me from doing it. That's how narcissists work. People that are controlling like that, they won't let you. They won't let you. And so anyway, my aunt, she said, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know, darling, if you ever need any money for anything, or you need anything for anything, you ask, and I'll completely give it to you." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." I said, "I really could use," and I was blazing in this sense, because I said, "I really could use an airline ticket, and I'll clean your house, I'll organize, I'll do whatever, I'll clean your toilet, I'll do whatever it takes to pay you the money back. But I need to get out. I need to leave." And she gave me the money, and then I got here, and I was able to sleep on my mom and dad's couch. They still didn't know. I was here for like 2.5 weeks. And then I finally broke down and told them, "I'm not going back. I'm not going back." And that's what happened. That's what happened. And so I just started cleaning houses, painting, like people needed their interior painted or their ceilings painted, or a couple of people were buying houses and they needed to like refurbish them. So I would go and clean them, and I mean, pull weeds. I was doing anything that I could. There was nothing unturned that I would not do. Well, within reason, darlings. Come on now. And and so I was doing that, and I was making decent money. And then I manifest. I said, "You know what? I've got to have enough money to have my own cell phone." Because that was the first thing I needed to do, was to transfer and have my own phone line, because I knew that was the next avenue to keep me safe. And because that was another control tactic. So I got my own line. I didn't tell anyone. And my aunt, yeah, she bought me my airline ticket. I paid her back that money. And she gave me $5,000. She wrote me a check and she said, "Hey, come get it." And I paid for my divorce. I got my new cell phone, my own line. And I got a couple of little clothes and things, because I didn't have very much. And so, but you know what you realize? You don't need lots to live. As long as you're happy, and you can manifest, then you're good, you know? It's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be in my book, but I'm trying to figure out how not to, throw everyone to the frickin' wolves, you know what I mean? There's a graceful way of doing it, I'm sure. But yeah, all of that on top. I mean, darlings, you would think that it was a made-up story. I'm telling you, the things that were done, you would think that it's not real. I'm sure y'all have had yours too. I don't know why I'm making this all about me, but that's right. I had a few, broke myself of that habit. Did you buy any Gucci? No. Since I was in high school, remember I was a mermaid. So I made really good money back then. And so I would also do things that I do now, like I would make quilts or duvet covers, or biscotti, and I would sell it to like these high-end stores, like, little mom and pop, little antique shops and everything. And so way back then, when I was probably 19, no, actually I had a little Gucci canteen bag, and a girlfriend from high school borrowed it. I had earned that from cleaning houses back when I was 13 years old, and she never returned it. But anyway, I got my first Louis Vuitton when I was 15, authentic, and I've been collecting Louis Vuitton, authentically Louis Vuitton, since then. So my handbag, I call it my Mary Poppins bag, which is really, really funny. just because someone said it one time, and I was like, oh, that, so it's like a, I guess it was like a carpet bag or something, because everything just falls to the bottom of it. But anyway, I've been collecting it for years. So, yeah, so I have all of the, so that's what I use. I mean, it's a Victorian company as well, too. So isn't that very, very, um, you know, very much this is my tiny little agenda. But, yeah, I love Louis Vuitton. I mean, it never goes out of style. I mean, especially this, because I love that little, the favorite. That's my favorite. That's the only kind I really like. I don't really care for the other designs too much. They've got the bright ones and all of that sort of thing. I like the typical ones. Um, yeah, they will not understand. You're absolutely right. Married 4 times, and none of them was worth the pain she went through, and died at 53. God, that's terrible. She died at my age. That is so young, isn't it? Manifesting has helped me do everything in life. Yeah, it absolutely has. Because once you realize you've got your sovereignty, I mean, is there anything else really? Because you get to decide to make yourself happy. And I never wanted to be that kind of person that's like bruised, and, they carry that storyline like, oh, I was so abused. I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious, but what I'm saying is I never wanted to be, I wanted to still say, I wanted people to look at me and say, you've been through all that. You look like you had a silver spoon in your mouth. I want people to look at me like that, because that means that I have been able to still remain graceful regardless of all the terrible things that have happened, right? So being an example, I mean, I want to try and be an example for people, whether you want to watch me or see me or not, that's fine. But, especially even for my children, that to represent something that, you know, nothing can break you. Nothing, I mean, it might be tough. Listen, it's tough sometimes, but it's nothing that, the waves always come in and they always go out, in and out. And so that means that when you're having a hard time, they're always going to shift, because the waves will always go back out, and they'll come back in, but they'll always go back out. So just try and remember that. I know it seems difficult, because there might be moments you're like, oh, I can't breathe. I think I'm dying, Because I remember when Sawyer first passed, I would just want to sleep the whole time, thinking, okay, when I wake up, because I'm going to wake up. And then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, it's real. Oh, it wasn't a nightmare. And so then I just want to go back to sleep again. So if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. And that is good enough. Why do you care what people think? No, I really don't care what people think. I want people to, because of the sense that to be an example, to be a business owner, to be a teacher and a coach and all of that, it's important of what I think. And that's what I would want. If I looked at someone, I would want to say, oh, I love that they're so strong. And, and so I admire that. So that's why I want to be that way. When did you know you were a medium? Well, I always knew when I was little. But here's the funny thing, darlings, is that, like I said, I had been on the YouTube since 2014. And I was doing it, and I originally started doing it because I was having a really big, hard time in California. This is when I started it. And, I wanted to have the channel because I needed someone to talk to. Like my ex-husband, like he wouldn't talk to me, And so I was like, I'm going to just start doing these videos, because maybe doing a blog and writing and everything, and maybe that will help me. And, but I was really initially doing it for my agenda, my Louis Vuitton agenda, all of my paradigms and all of that sort of thing, that course, that kind of stuff that's coming out. It'll be coming out soon. But the point that I'm making is I always knew things like, I just thought it was normal. Like I would go on trips, or like go on a trip, or we would be somewhere, And I would just blurt out, oh, there's a dead body out there under that tree. And I remember my ex-husband would look at me like, you're insane. Like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, no, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. Or like I would go somewhere, like even when I was little, I was constantly like talking to spirits and stuff. But then when my mom would see me, or like she would happen to walk in, or she would be like, who are you talking to? I'd be like, oh, my imaginary friends, my imaginary friends. Because I grew up in a staunch Pentecostal. So that is considered, I mean, demonic. You're of the devil. You're a witch. You're of the devil. You need an exorcism. You're satanic. You're going to hell. And so obviously to protect myself, I would never tell that. So there was no way that I could ever use tarot cards. That wasn't happening. But what it did was made me learn how to not rely on anything. So that's probably why it comes so easy for me, because I think this shouldn't come this easy for me, you know? And so this was about 2 years ago. So that means Sawyer had been passed 4 years at that point, right? Because he died in 2019. And I was just really having a hard time during the pandemic. Remember I told you I started taking the British RP class. And got the coach, hired the coach, because I had done an interior design job, because I also have that degree. But anyway, the point that I'm making is I was so frustrated with the YouTube, because I love YouTube, but I had been I had never made any money. I mean, less than maybe $30 at one time in the whole 11 years. And so I was so frustrated, and I just was on the verge of giving up. But I remembered when Sawyer passed, and I went to his house, and I noticed, like, I was hearing him talk to me, like it was blatantly obvious. Like he's like, mommy this, da da da, mommy it's time to leave, mommy this is da da da. I mean, and I could just hear it. It was so fast when I was in his house. And so that sort of started clicking into me, like, and I started asking Jeffrey, I'm like, Jeffrey, since I was little, I've always heard people talking to me. Like, I'll see something, or I'll see an animal. Like, I know what the animal's thinking. And I was just like, but I feel like because when you're in a narcissistic relationship, you think that you're crazy, because they tell you you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Eventually you start to question yourself and think, maybe I am crazy. I think I am crazy. And then they'll put you on medication, and then they'll keep upping the ante on the medication, and then you could, knock a freaking elephant down because you're taking so much. And then you start to have those issues, and then you're like, okay, I can't sleep now. So then they start giving you medication because you can't sleep. So then you're on more medication. Yeah, this is what happened to me. Oh, you're going crazy. We might need to put you in a mental home. Your family is mentally disturbed, whatever. And so anyway, all this time I'm gaining my strength. And we need a join button for paid subscriptions. Do you? Because I talk so much. That's right, and that no one will ever want, etc. Yeah, and so anyway, Jeffrey's like, no, darling, I've known this since I met you, that you have a gift. And I'll tell you when it clicked in. So many times I would see, and I would post on the Instagram, oh, this is what's going to happen. And I remember back in 2016, I was like, oh no, Trump's going to win the election. And people looked at me like I was absolutely batshit crazy. And, but I was like, you'll see. And they're like, no, Hillary's going to win. That's never going to happen. I mean, remember how many times regardless, this is just an example. And then when I said, you know what, maybe I should just, all these other people are putting stuff out, and it's just like, they're ridiculous. I'm going to just put a video out. And the freaking thing went viral. It was the second viral video I had since the twin flame video that I had for the twin flame one. And I think I have that to me is viral, 500,000 views or something, or it's close to there. It might not be quite that much, but Yeah, I think it was like the 13 things that you met your twin flame. Okay, no, tell me what it is. Let me see, darling, if I can find it. Oh, why is it taking so long to sell your home? Okay, let me give you an example. Why it's taking long for you to sell your home. Because you don't believe that the home's sold yet. Okay, so let me give you an example. Jeffrey, Sean, and I, we were in Tampa. Okay, so he gets fired from his job. He had been hospitalized twice, almost died. So he said he lost his job, so we got to sell the house. So I find a realtor. Sawyer sent me the realtor. It was in the little mailbox. I said, you know what? Send me a realtor. I'm not going out and looking for a realtor. Send me a realtor. I opened the box. You know how like you get those sample things and it's like, oh, the realtor in your area, they're selling these houses for. Call them, blah, blah, blah. I felt very inspired. Her name is Debbie. I called Debbie. Said, Debbie, we want to sell the house, put it on the market. Okay, now you have to understand, we lived in a great neighborhood, but we were in the process because we had just gotten married. Right? Well, we had been working on fixing the house up because it was built in the 70s. Jeffrey Sean had never done anything to it. You know, he was a bachelor that entire time. So everything was very, very outdated. So you have to understand when people are purchasing a house, they're either going to, this is what the realtor told me, oh, they're not going to, you won't be able to ever sell it to someone with an FHA loan because it's not finished. You know, there's certain criteria you have to have. We had concrete floors. There was, you know, electrical things showing. There was, the bathroom was ripped out. It was so many things that did not work. And I said to Debbie, she was sitting on the couch, and I said, Debbie, aren't you a Christian? And she said, yes, Raquel, I'm a Christian. I said, you don't believe in miracles? And she said, well, yeah. I said, well, then you're going to see a miracle because this house is going to sell. And so anyway, I gave the thing. I wanted the house to sell. I'm getting there, darling. I'm telling you this because this is a beautiful thing. I want you to hear me. So she says, okay. You know, you could tell by her emotions and her expression, she was just like, this girl is off her rocker. So for the first 2 weeks, we get every other day, we're having 2 and 3 showings a day. And we have 2 people come in, they put an offer on it. One guy is talking about how he's going to do this to it, and he's going to do this, and whatever. And his energy was horrible. I was like, I wouldn't sell it if he gave me over asking price. We're not selling it for that. I don't like that energy. So she thought that was a little bizarre, but I was like, nope. I know exactly who I want. So another 2 weeks, yeah, no, let me see, because we sold it in, no, the total selling before we sold it was 2 weeks. So this was like the first week. Okay. So then Jeffrey starts to get desperate because 2 things had fallen through. They didn't have the money that they said they did. And then this other person was a company that they were going to flip houses. And so they obviously want to get it for really, really dirt cheap so that they can, you know, jack it up after they've done all this stuff to it. And but anyway, they ended up falling through. So then Jeffrey starts panicking, and the realtor starts panicking because she's like, oh, you're not going to, you know, we're going to have to go down on the price. And I said, no, we're not going down on the price. This is it. This is how it's going. And so Jeffrey was like, babe, don't you think we're being a little unreasonable to, you know, whatever? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Just, you've got to trust. You got to trust. So I did Sats this one night, and I said, okay, if I'm approaching this house, because at the start, I've got to admit to you, it was nothing the kind of home that I wanted to live in forever. So I had always been wanting to manifest. I want to leave. I want him to sell this house. I wasn't on the mortgage because he had already purchased it before. And I said, no, I don't care about being on the mortgage. I don't care. And so, because by Florida law anyway, if we were to divorce, quote unquote, which that wouldn't happen, but I would have got half. But anyway, the point that I'm making is I never liked the house because it was 1970s. And if you think about that, I just didn't like it. I'm a Victorian girl. And so I said, I want to get rid of this house. So this is the energy, Ro. This is the energy that I had. And who wants to buy a house if that's the energy that I'm carrying? Let me unload this house. That's the energy you're going to get. No, I don't want to live here. Who else is going to want to live here? And then I thought, oh God, that's really terrible, isn't it? I've got to change my way. So that night I thought, how would I approach this? Think about what you wrote. Think about what you thought when you first had that house. You're excited. You're like, whoa, I'm going to do a garden. And oh, I can't wait to paint these walls and do this to the kitchen. And oh my goodness, the little children are going to have their little baby room over here. And we're going to decorate the nursery. And we're going to put a swing set in the backyard or garden. And we're going to do this. And you're so excited when you first have your home, right? This is the energy you need. So then what you do is you translate it to, who do you want to live in your house, Ro? Who do you want to live in your house? Okay, so this is what I started doing. That night before that, I said, you know what? I want a cute little couple. I want them to have little children here. I want them to raise children. I want them to have a little swing set in the back and a little fire pit. And I want them to enjoy this house. They're going to have their cute little decorated room, and they're going to make little meals, and they're going to have fun time. They're going to watch little videos of Disney, The Little Mermaid. They're just going to have such a wonderful time. So that's what I went to sleep on. I said, yes, oh, they're going to just love it, and the little girl's going to love it. She's going to have little tea parties and all that kind of stuff. So I just went in my imagination, who would I want to live in this house? That's who I wanted. Young couple, wants to spend the next 10 years there, whatever, fixing it up, making it lovely. So we're on the second week. I know, I hope y'all aren't bored with this. We're on the second week. So that Thursday, Debbie, our realtor, calls me. She says, we have a couple coming. Can we show the house on that Thursday? And I said, oh yeah, perfectly fine. It was supposed to be around 3 o'clock. And I said, that will be wonderful. Well, Thursday night, I get a call. Oh, they're canceling. But there's a young little couple that wants to come and look on Friday at 1 p.m. Would that be okay? We'll just switch it out. I said, oh, that would be lovely. The couple comes. She's got one little child with her, little toddler, little girl. And she's pregnant with another baby. They're very young. They look like in their early 30s, maybe 20s, late 20s, early 30s. Lovely little Christian family. They're so excited. They see the little Oliver Twisty Topsy and his little rabbit hutch. They're so excited. She goes out to the patio, to the terrace, and she says, oh, Daddy, wouldn't this be lovely to have a little tea party? I'm not kidding you. I hear her say this, and I'm thinking, okay, but what are we going to do? Because they have an FHA loan. This becomes a problem. He says, I flip houses on the side, and I know how to get past an FHA code for them to check it off. He goes, would you be willing, you and your husband, to go stay somewhere for Saturday and Sunday, and the realtor let me come in and I can fix everything that would be a problem for the coding. So I'll paint the flooring, because if you can paint it a color, you can get by with it. They'll check it off. The realtor, Debbie, said, I don't know if the owners would be willing to do this, but I'll be there every time monitoring, make sure nothing gets stolen, and whatever. We leave that Friday, and they completely do all of the stuff. They fix the thing on the stove, the bathroom, the other. They put a sink in the other bathroom. They make everything perfect. They give us our exact amount and for how much we were offering, and we sold it. It all went through within like 72 hours. So that was what it was. I had to change how I was feeling about the house because I was wanting, like, I want to unload this house. I hate this house. I hate this house. I hate this house. I want to get rid of this house. And when I changed it and I said, no, this, how would I feel? I'd be really excited if this is going to be a new adventure and a new family and da 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 da. You just manifest it. You're a God. You can manifest anything you want. Anyway, so I guess I should let y'all go because I think y'all have gotten bored with me. So, I look like Meryl Streep. Do I have that sharp of a nose like that? She's got more of a sharp nose, doesn't she? All right, darlings. Trust the universe. Yes. No, trust you. Not you are the universe. Trust you. You decide what you want. Yeah, but you know what? Look at it from the point that don't think of it like, oh, I haven't sold it in this long. Don't just ignore that energy because that is keeping the momentum going, darling. And then what happens is it keeps perpetuating the narrative. So what you have to do is pretend that doesn't exist. Okay? So you're like, I am so excited. Start thinking about where you're going to live. Start thinking all the positive. If it's negative, drop it. If you start thinking about the house and you're like about selling it, if you have to be mechanical, be mechanical. But if it becomes emotionally driven or you think in a negative aspect, drop it. That means go find something to do. Go make a cup of tea. Go wash your vehicle. Go make your bed. Go put in a load of clothing in the washing machine. Go wash dishes. Go put on Pride and Prejudice. Go put on a lovely little movie. Go talk to your girlfriend. Go on Pinterest and start pinning fun things for your new home. So what I'm saying is, please do Jesus, Buddha, and Elvis next. Oh, I did Elvis. You bring about. You think what you think about, you bring about. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Because that's the thing is like you are the universe. There's no one outside of you telling you like, oh, you can't sell that house or oh, you're not worthy of this. Da, 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 da. You are the universe. And I know that's hard to explain, but you are God. Do you understand? From the perspective, everyone is these fractals of God. And so it's seeing it through that perspective. So there's no one there that's going to save you. You save you. Does that make sense? I'm from Sudan. Oh, cool. I never sell Elvis. I'll have to go look. Oh, saw the Elvis one. Yeah. Your life is a reflection of your beliefs. Yes. And I want to marry you. Oh, I don't know what that means. Yeah, stay positive. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's lovely. You know what? I better go because I'm going to love you and leave you because you know what? I've got to go put the fencing up. I've got to go screw the 4x4x8s into the grounds. I've got 3 to do. 3 more to do. Good morning, darlings. How about Michael Jackson from the Philippines? I did a Michael Jackson, love. Go look on my YouTube channel. She has already taken Sudan. Is it Sudan or Sudan? Sudan? Sending you love. I love you so very much. Is everyone going to send me a Christmas card? I'm painting the Christmas card right now, my ones that I'm going to send to you. So remember, it's Raquel's letterbox in the hedge. And it's a P.O. box. And I'll put it under the caption, if you want me to, in the description box. And it's also on my front page, you know, more about this channel. I'm pretty positive that it is. It's on my blog as well. Letterbox in the hedge. So send me a Christmas card and I'm going to send you a Christmas card back. I'm painting a pretty little Christmas card. Hope to see you do a reading. Yes, I'm going to be putting a reading out tomorrow. And so who was the other one that y'all wanted me to do? Paris Hilton. She seems to be in the middle of everything in Hollywood in some way. Someone else said that on the comment section the other day on my channel about her. Love you, darling. Merry past Thanksgiving. Yeah, I don't know much about her. I know she's married to someone, his name's Carter. Isn't that funny? Okay, darlings, I love you. And send me a Christmas card. Are you going? Is anyone going to send me a Christmas card? I really want you to send me one so I can send you one back. Erica Kirk, are you single or married? I'm married. Hello from Scotland. Hello, Brenda. How are you, darling? Hello. I want to surprise you with. Oh, you're going to send me a card. I'm so excited. Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. I love it. It's very old fashioned, you know. Very Victorian. Oh. All right, my darlings, you have a lovely night, and I hope that you enjoyed this little prattle, and look forward to my videos tomorrow, okay? My channel's video tomorrow. All right, darlings? All right, my loves. Cheers, darlings. Toodle pip. Chappie says goodbye.